Welcome to Speakeasily versus the 80s. Who are we? Who are you? Hopefully, if you're anything like us, you're a bunch of overgrown 80s kids waxing nostalgic over the only decade that could have possibly prepared us for the current toxicity levels in the year of our Blord 2020. But the 80s had more skiing and sexual harassment, which somehow made it more fun. Yep, we unearthed the best of the worst from the decade we grew up in, exposing gems from the cavernous and sometimes vacuous decade of the 1980s. Come with us in our collective midlife crisis as we explore the classics that made us into the perverts we are today. We're beaming at you live from the past on the interwaves of the future, from our undisclosed location in the Central Galaxy. With me, as always, are my partners in nostalgic crime, Klingon Vanna White and Shecky Davis Jr.
Greetings and salutations.
Hello.
And how are you guys doing?
Me.
I'm doing pretty good. It's kind of interesting what's going on in the current state of everything.
Oh, I hadn't noticed.
Well, no. I mean, I was just kind of thinking, what else could go wrong in this year? And then Kanye West said he's going to run for president. And then I was just like, sure. Okay, that's fine.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, at this point, literally aliens could pop out of my ass and say, "Hey," and I'd be like, "Hi, how you doing? Let's have some brunch." I don't know.
That's what I did yesterday.
Right. That's just like Tuesday.
Yeah. So I was just like, okay, Kanye West for president. Sure.
I know. I'd be more for it if he wasn't such a born again.
A born again lunatic.
He's so true. He knows how to use Twitter, so I think that's the only thing you have to know nowadays to be a president.
Yeah. At this point, 2020 can just do whatever it wants. I can't be shocked anymore.
Yeah, well, narcissist just got a me.
Yep. Yeah. It's just like 2020. It's like we can't wear masks because my freedoms, and
because me.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Whoa, did you hear that? It was like the voice of reason.
I know.
I think it was the person that we kidnapped.
Yes.
Oh, that's what, because we wanted his 2020 to be extra special.
Yeah, so we kidnapped him and tortured him with Kanye West albums.
That's right. Especially the new Born Again album. Well, let's get to our special guest, aka prisoner. With us today is the Bay Area curator, DJ, actor, artist, activist, comic book collector, amateur comic grader, fashion geek, and overall 80s pop culture nerd. Yes, I'm talking about the Jeff Bostic. Hi, Jeff.
Hello. Am I at the right levels? Am I too loud? How do I sound?
You can never be too loud, sir.
Oh, yes, wonderful.
This coming from Shecky.
Yeah.
It's an honor to be on the show, and it was really difficult to pick one 80s movie. There was a lot of sweat and tears and a lot of crying involved, but I did it.
Just do it.
No, as it should be for 80s movies. They're all fantastic gems. Like we have never had, we've never had cinema like we've had since the 80s. It's like it's been all downhill since after the 90s, all downhill.
Agree. Yeah, generally. Well, you picked a really great one, actually. You brought us a movie that really puts its testicles all over you.
Yep.
It does.
Yeah. We're talking about the feel-good suicide classic from 1985, Savage Steve Holland's Better Off Dead.
What a great movie.
Such a classic. Oh, and in fact, Jeff, you wanted to do the Savage Steve Holland trilogy of films, but I can only make my co-host watch one movie at a time.
Our attention spans are that bad.
I can't have you work over one movie a week.
That was in the settlement.
Yeah. I got in trouble with that. I made them watch like all of the ski schools all in one day, and
Oh, nice.
they all ended up in the hospital. So
I was in intensive care.
Yes,
Wow.
it's pretty bad. Every 80s movie with the name ski in it, and it was terrible. so many white people.
So many montages.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shecky developed snow blindness. It was terrible.
every time I see a montage, I get PTSD.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, white people were very famous in the 80s, They were all over the place. They were very popular.
All the white people sports like golf and skiing.
Yeah, golf. Yeah, especially skiing. It did get me to ski because I thought that that's what you had to do as a teenager to learn how to ski.
So dangerous.
Yeah, I hated it. I don't like skiing at all.
No, neither do I.
I hate it also as a very white alien.
Well, there is no snow on the Klingon homeworld.
That's true.
I mean, although I guess it depends on which continuity you're looking at for your home. If you're looking at the Kelvin or the Abrams. So, but I think they blew up in both of them anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, what was
So let's talk about this movie.
Yeah, it's funny
Nice.
that you picked this, and we've actually already had some ski in our past because we watched Hot Dog the movie.
Oh Lord.
We
Yes.
watched the hell out of Hot Dog the movie, and they would definitely make a good double, triple, quadruple feature if I wouldn't be brought in by the Hague for doing that to my workers. But yeah, wow. But tell us why Better Off Dead, or why the Savage Steve Holland trilogy.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was very difficult. So all these people seem to be in half the other 80s movies that I wanted to pick, like E.G. Daily, who I've had a crush on, who has for forever. Me and the famous Gabe Wheeler, we have E.G. Daily conversations.
Oh, well, he's been on our show. He is famous.
Yes, very
Yeah,
famous.
her little raspy voice.
Yes. And then, Curtis Armstrong, who was Booger in Revenge of the Nerds, which is another one that I was like, should I do Revenge of the Nerds? And
that is problematic.
so, yeah, but I think this is like the central story. This is probably what got me into. I was 11-year-old when I saw this, and so I was really interested in learning how to be a teenager and wanting to make out with girls, and I thought watching these movies would propel me into that atmosphere.
Well, I just love it. I just love it that you actually thought, because there is no manual, I'm going to use Savage Steve Holland movies to kind of inform me as to what it is to be a teenager. I love that. Like, that's very studious of you and forward thinking.
Yes.
Yes.
And it was on accident because I went and it was almost like a double feature where you go in and watch one movie and try to see 3 other movies because you can sneak around. And
so it wasn't a double feature. You're just a movie thief. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, yes, pretty much. So I went and saw Cujo.
Oh wow!
And then
What the?
we went and saw this movie, and then I actually tried to test out some of my awkward moves because after that we went roller skating, and that was the first time I asked a girl to slow dance roller skate.
Oh,
Was it the first time you ever roller skated?
No. I loved roller skating, but never had the courage. And Lane Meyer gave me that one-day courage that I could
yes.
ask a strange girl, to roller skate.
That's awesome.
And she was taller than me too, so that
Aww.
So yeah, I think all of those, and then all the other high school movies I watched seem to all have the same story. So I was like, oh, if I pick Better Off Dead, that's probably going to describe 12 other movies like 3 O'Clock High, and all the movies with blonde bullies, and yeah.
I mean, that was so great though, because all those movies kind of, you're right though, they taught you, like, if you were a nerd, which most kids probably were, it taught you like how to survive high school in the 80s. I love that.
Yes. That was the main reason, and after, because it was like my first time sneaking in a movie, I think that kind of put a little extra cachet on it. And I wanted to be John Cusack. Like, I thought that was the way to move through the world and to be cute and awkward. I had that in spades, at least the awkward part. But so I was hoping that maybe I was gonna like some super pretty girl, and then this other girl was gonna come along, and maybe not as pretty because she only has brown hair, but by the end of the montage, I would say, oh wow, she's so awesome, she's pretty, and she fixed my car, so this is how it's going to be for the rest of my life.
Yeah, women will do things for you.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they magically turned pretty, even though they were pretty the whole time. So they wore glasses, all those other things that make women ugly. The glasses, the brown hair, the
weird boxy ass 80s clothing.
Yes.
The strange hats over your voluminous hair. You're like, why?
I like her weird French look.
I liked her weird French look too, but that one scene where she had the big hat, the fedora over her big ass hair with the giant menswear coat that makes her look like a linebacker. It's like everybody had an eating disorder back then, so we all weighed like 90 pounds, and that's the only way you could get away with wearing something like that. I would look like a bear wearing something like that today.
Hey, it's coming back. I see the kids doing it.
Yeah, they're the fucking kids.
I just missed I just missed the linebacker shoulders that women had to wear. That's amazing. Mm.
Yeah, shoulder pads, very useful, especially for people like me without shoulders. It comes in handy. Holds your purse up. Yeah.
Gives you something to rest your eyes on other than my childbearing hips or something.
Right. Well, shapes of the clothing aside, this movie does have a lot of tropes in it that all these movies had. Like you point out, they all had the same villain. They all, in this case, it's Roy Stalin, which is like maybe the best name.
Is he German? That was a throwback to Hot Dog. Is he German? No, they're Austrian. Oh, yeah. Stop it.
That's right, the Austrian bad guy. But they're all like they're always like that blonde. The evil blonde dude.
Very Aryan.
Yeah. And in fact, there's some interesting, not even subtext, it's just text, where Roy Stalin, every time he sees Lane Meyer, who is, perhaps on the swarthier side of whatever, he says, Buenos dias. He's starts speaking Spanish to this possibly Jewish kid,
It's freaking cute.
And this so adorable.
So cute.
Mm-hmm. Very adorable. Yeah, he was the quintessential bad guy. He from what I understand, he actually won the role by being a dickhead, waiting to do his lines. There was a casting call, and he made fun of Savage Steve Holland by accident. So supposedly, I think he called him a fat surfer or something.
Yeah,
hey,
who's that fat surfer?
Yeah, and they're like, oh, dude, that's the director. And they're like, oh, you're perfect for the role. You're such an asshole.
Right. He earned it.
So what's this movie about?
It's about
the woes of middle-class white people.
Yeah. Lane Meyer, who's just so in love, he was with his girlfriend for so many months, and it just devastated him that she broke up with him to go out with the coolest guy in school, the big asshole.
But how did he get her, though? I don't understand. How did he get her? Because
the throwback when he was kind of playing, what was it, football, and then he stomped through somebody's picnic.
But I just don't see him. Was he popular by association because of her, and then she dumped him? Was this sort of like a 10 Things I Hate About You, or one of those other 90s movies where the pretty girl goes with the guy for a bed or something? I don't know.
He's charming. Did you not catch that?
I get that, but the charming kids never like get that kind of girl. But I guess it's just funny. And then she goes out with the cooler guy. I don't know. Just the whole setup for the premise was kind of like, okay, we're just supposed to believe that a nerd like him would have a girl like her, but whatever.
She was kind of new to school, and she just seemed like a social climber.
Oh, maybe. Okay. Yeah.
She was leveling up. She's like, this guy's cute, but this guy's
better for my social life.
The K-12.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So, and then he was really, I guess the movie starts off with he's really just obsessed. Like, he thinks about her all the time. His coat hangers have her face on it. Pictures everywhere. And, yeah.
It's
really
scary.
Obsessed.
Yeah, it really is.
Not good. I mean, he could easily just go into serial killer mode at this point.
Right? And look, I get it. It's a comedy, but any wrong turn, serial killer.
Yeah.
Thriller movie.
I had to actually go on to the Does the Dog Die? The second that they introduced the cat, the doesthedogdie.com, they tell you if an animal dies.
I have never heard that movie.
Oh my god! I do it all the time.
Wow.
While watching movies, because I just can't. I don't deal with very well with like very often in horror movies. They'll like level up and show the level of threat by either killing the black guy or the dog or the cat.
How many dogs and cats died in Milo and Otis?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I probably never watched that.
Yeah, don't. I remember seeing it. I was working in a movie theater, and I saw like some footage, and it really, literally looked like they threw a cat off of like a cliff. And I remember like being thrown back, and I was like, "Whoa, that's Dudley Moore's voice!" And there's a cat being thrown off of a cliff into water, like 30 feet. And I was like, This is supposed to be a child's film, and this is next Milo.
Oh my god! Yeah. Did they really?
So
did Milo's die?
I don't know. We're gonna have to check up that site later.
Okay.
I don't know why that just popped in my head when you said movies that killed animals.
Oh my god!
I was like, oh.
Alleged killing of 20 kittens during production.
What the fuck?
Wow.
Okay, that movie is canceled.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right,
so
well,
about
moving
Better
along.
Off Dead. Sorry about the little segue. that little
horrible.
Yes, back to a movie that didn't kill animals. Or maybe I think it didn't. I don't remember. Alleged. A lot of Jello snorting, but no cat killing.
Yeah, so there's no cat killing in Better Off Dead. Just suicidal ideation and acting out.
Yeah, and it's hilarious.
Oh my god, yeah.
Hilarious.
Well, come on. It's supposedly based on a semi-autobiographical about his life, in which his girlfriend, did leave him for the captain, of the football team, and he did have a kid who was a paperboy who tried to, bother him for $2. So it's funny how art imitates life,
Yeah, a lot of the stories, those two things. I think a couple other things were, little random stories throughout his high school that he put in there, because the movie does seem to move along pretty randomly. There's like a lot of different stuff going on. Like, I guess it's just like random teen life, and then a bunch of suicidal attempts and feeling like he's just super depressed over a girl. I guess that sums up that movie. And then some fantastic skiing.
Right. And so if you're into skiing, you got your ski porn.
Nice. So then I guess what does he do? He goes to a ski tryout, and he meets his girlfriend there, who's already is planning to dump him for the captain of the ski team.
Yeah, he kind of didn't get the memo until he basically sees it happen.
Yeah. And he actually makes the ski team, but because Roy's such an asshole, clocks him a little late. So he gets super embarrassed, and then she then dumps him and explains why, and explains the reasons that she needs to level up, and she wants to become more popular. Like outright tells him that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's honest. She's blunt.
And then it's his struggle throughout the movie to get over it. And then accidentally falls in love in the process with the right girl.
Right. But, the moral there is that, like, when you're looking for it, you can't find it. There's some moral in there where, you can get so worked up and caught up in your own unhappiness that you don't see what's right in front of you.
I thought that was a horrible message.
Why is that?
Because she's a foreign exchange student and she'll be leaving and then he'll be alone again.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean,
that's true.
So he's terrible. It's terrible.
Also made me wonder, like, how many foreign exchange students were horribly sexually harassed or things like that. I mean, it just was like, oh my God, what a freaking cesspool of litigation that opened
family. Up. Oh my God. Yeah,
man,
disgusting.
Yeah. So the family next door basically gets foreign exchange student just so, like, the shut-in weird nerdy boy has a female that he can play with.
Gross.
Yeah, it was pretty sad.
Which is weird though, because I had a huge crush on him.
Really? When you were watching it when you were a kid?
Yeah, Dan Schneider. Like he's been in a whole bunch of movies, and then tragically he kind of and he was on like Head of the Class and stuff. So I had a huge crush on him, and then he became a huge producer for Nickelodeon TV shows with kids, and now I guess he has a. I mean, it sounds horrible. But if this movie is imitating life, like, he turned into that guy that he was playing in Better Off Dead, because I guess there's all these weird allegations against him for nothing that they could prove, but I guess he had some really crazy young girl foot fetishes and stuff with some of the actresses and stuff. So yeah, he kind of turned into a scumbag.
Tarantino on that one.
He just turned into kind of a scumbag later in life, and if you can look him up, and there's all these allegations, unproven allegations about stuff that he would do with his teenage female actresses,
underage, okay.
Yeah, and stuff. It's really crazy. Like, I was just like, what happened, guy? But he was a really big name at Nickelodeon for a long time in the 90s and early 2000s. So, but then they quietly kind of like pushed him out, to hide allegations. But it's just weird stuff, weird stuff.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
the first thing that came up when I did Dan Schneider foot fetish is those troubling Dan Schneider rumors that haven't gone away.
Yes. So, it's like, I don't know if they're true or not.
Oh my God,
I can't
he's
say
awful
that.
Looking.
But yeah, I don't think he's aged well. So anyway, but that's always one of the things. It's like, don't look up the people that you're like really kind of like you like. They've usually turned into a schmuck or some weird person.
Oh, he's like a pedo.
Yeah,
exploited his position at Nickelodeon to get closer to children's feet.
Yeah, it was.
This is disturbing.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he liked kids' feet. I mean.
Okay. Whoa.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the movie where it's light. So he's just as much of an asshole in the movie as character.
Yeah, you're right. So.
Wow.
But again,
it keeps getting darker.
Yeah, the movie keeps getting darker. If we look at it in a 2020 kind of lens, is this movie problematic?
Sure.
I think most 80s movies are. Vanna?
Problematic in what way?
Well, no, because I was thinking about...
There's problems all over, but...
Well, no, I'm just thinking because of the Asian Howard Cosell.
Oh, yeah, those are funny.
And I'm thinking...
But it's wrong.
I was like, wow, because like I loved them. Like, I thought they were hilarious. But, I mean, nowadays, it's like, But the Asian Howard Cosell was fantastic.
The Dan Schneider guy, he's overweight, he's eating all the time. The Asian guys, with their Asian girlfriends eating, Chinese food.
Yeah, of course they're eating Chinese food in the car.
Yeah. They probably aren't even Chinese, so there's all that craziness.
He was dubbed over by Rich Little, by the way.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, it's not even that actor's voice.
That sucks. That's sad.
He practiced really hard too. And they said, nope, we got Rich Little.
Yeah.
And I think he was Korean, and they said that he was Japanese. So just like in all 80s movies, you just had to look kind of Asian, and they would just put you into anything.
Yeah, totally.
They would be
suddenly
like
a kamikaze car driver. Is that what they called him?
Yeah, and what's that dude? Lou Diamond Phillips, who wasn't even. What was he? I think he was like Eskimo and Filipino. He played like all the Latin roles and all the Asian roles, and it was just like
everyone ethnic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another great trope from the 80s. Like, oh yeah, you can be ethnic. John Turturro often got to be that guy too. Ethnically ambiguous.
Yes. John Turturro played a lot of Puerto Ricans.
I wonder if he probably played some terrorists too.
He's probably what?
Played some terrorists too.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt it. There's this book I'd like to recommend for everyone out there who likes to look into these things. It's called Teen Movie Hell, and it's basically like a directory. Like you can look up all the 80s teen movie hits, and they kind of tag them by their overarching themes. And for Better Off Dead, one of the overarching themes is hilarious Asians. And you'll see this anytime there's like an Asian stereotype, this book will give it like, hilarious Asians, it's very tongue in cheek. So I would say that, we're not the only ones that bothered.
Well, but the thing is, there weren't that many hilarious Asians in movies for representation, so it's kind of like the step and fetch it kind of thing. It's like, we're not going to be getting some real, Asian type of movies. I mean, I guess the only one in the 80s that I remember that being really kind of forward thinking was that movie Gung Ho with Michael Keaton. So, but again, and you don't really see it that much, but
but you see a lot of the quote unquote hilarious Asian treatment in the 80s all the time. And was it Breakfast? No.
Your Breakfast at Tiffany's?
No,
oh my God.
Hell yeah.
But that wasn't even
16,
an Asian.
16 Candles.
16 Candles, thank you. That's
yeah.
Long Duck Dong. Bong. With the gong every time he said his name.
Oh my God.
Yeah. We just have to deal with it. We have to deal with it. That exists in this movie.
Yeah, that exists. And when did Asian men were able to be sexy in films? Like,
we're still waiting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe there was Crazy Asians or something where it was like, oh wow, these guys, they're human beings and they're attractive. Look at them.
I remember my mom getting a little hot under the collar during watching Shogun. Remember that series?
Yeah.
But I think the cool thing about Better Off Dead, to get back to it, is they had every kind of stereotype though, and everyone was kind of lambasted. Like everyone
gets it, yeah.
Which I thought was really kind of fun. Everyone gets it. The only person that doesn't get it is the a foreign exchange student. Aside from being weirdly awkward and I loved it that she actually spoke English but decided not to for fear of what was going on in the house that she was in and with what's his name's mother and all that. It was just very.
Oh, they were awful.
They really were. Yeah. They really were crazy.
Yeah, she gets it too. I mean, but we get to laugh along at it, because we have the Lane's mother with the French fries and the French dressing.
Yes.
So
Peru.
And Peru.
Yeah, and the mother couldn't cook, or she could cook, but she kept trying to cook weird ass shit. Like, what was that about? It's like,
I don't think she could cook.
She tried.
Yeah, that was also something from his high school, Savage Steve Holland. He said his mom could not cook. She would always get those McCall books and would always miss some type of ingredient. And then she just gave him TV dinners for his birthday.
Yeah.
Love it.
It kind of sounds like my mom. And there's that line where she's like, it has raisins, you like raisins. And that is such a like familiar thing from my childhood, because it's like, yeah, you know, they'll remember that when you were 3 you ate raisins, you know.
Well, I think it was because I think it was because at least as long as it had one thing that you like, it was okay.
Yeah. You have to eat this. You like raisins.
Anyone that uses raisins as an ingredient in something is evil.
Oh,
Yeah.
Raisins are a thing by themselves if you're feeling like it. And then if you add it to something else, you have a problem.
Down with raisins. Up with Better Off Dead.
Yeah.
Although it's kind of amazing when that blue pile walks off the plate.
Oh, yeah.
It's really great. And that takes us to like this concept that this movie is basically a live action cartoon.
Yes.
And I think that's maybe why we loved it so much as kids.
Yeah. A lot of zany stuff was happening. A lot of fantastic, like, when do you ever find a 1968 Camaro for $200?
Never.
Yeah, so a lot of awesome things that you want to happen in high school happens in Better Off Dead.
Yeah, and then there actually was a cartoon in the movie. Like one of my favorite scenes,
yes,
and which was a really strong introduction to Van Halen, was "Everybody Wants Some," you know, and that
everybody wants some.
I want some too. Yeah. So I actually love that, and him making, and that whole scene of him like, you want this, and like he goes into this weird, like, into his imagination, and that's where I always liked Savage Steve Holland's kind of direction, and we get to see a lot, and he really pivots really hard into it in One Crazy Summer, but you can really see the beginning of it right here, and it was so good. Like that, I don't know, something about that, you know, burger dancing and playing the, you know, Eddie Van Halen's guitar, and just, it was really great. And then that guy who was the owner, I think that guy was in Porky's.
He was.
Yeah,
he was Porky's.
Yeah, so that's kind of funny. It's kind of like a cool throwback to Porky's, because those movies were awesome too. So
Savage Steve Holland likes the inside jokes. So, you know, there's one laced in there. There is a reference to Freddy Krueger. Somebody's wearing that sweater.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I was like, I guess that was a choice, but I was just like, were those sweaters just that popular?
No. No, that's just a reference. I mean, he's like an ultimate film nerd. You know, he just wants to put in all the cool shit he likes. He's Quentin Tarantino before Tarantino.
That's a good one. You should put that on a t-shirt.
Nope.
Nope.
Quit.
Why not?
Quentin Tarantino.
We have to. Yeah, he doesn't need any more advertising.
That's true.
But it's very meta, and it goes there too with like the weird fantasy sections, like Shecky was saying about with the animation. He just like threw everything in there that he liked, because he said in an interview, he wasn't sure anyone would ever let him make another movie. And this one didn't do well at all. It bombed.
Yeah.
But you know what? The following year, they
Bombed
did
hard.
let him make a movie. They let him make One Crazy Summer, which is actually the movie I saw first. And that was one of my favorite movies. Like, I think I still have that movie memorized. And it was only later that someone was like, oh, you like that one? You should see Better Off Dead. I'm like, what's that? But they really exist in the same universe. Both movies have the same, very similar actors, right? We got Chris Armstrong and John Cusack.
Demi Moore.
Oh, Demi Moore, she's in this. Yep.
Oh, wow.
She sings.
and of course the crazy white people. You know, the rich, affluent white people. The bane of all 80s kid.
Yeah.
They just switched out skiing for boat racing.
the regatta.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And the third in this trilogy, I have actually never seen to this day.
What? It's so good.
What is it?
How I Got Into College.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Great movie. Has really no connection to the other movies, but it could, because if you honestly were to take this as a Savage Steve Holland, like if these were all autobiographical, which they probably, I don't think the other two were. Maybe they were, but it's like you have like a senior year with, you have like a junior year with Better Off Dead. Then you have the summer, love affair, and then
After
you have
graduate, yeah.
and then you have the graduation. So it really is this kind of cycle of coming of age kind of stories. So, which is very interesting when you think about it. And I actually adored how I Got Into College, because it wasn't as How I Got Into College was more of a quote unquote movie, because you can tell it was a lot more, what is the word? It wasn't as fantastical as the other two.
Yes.
So, but they still had these trademark Savage Steve Holland moments in it. So it would be the most quote unquote commercial movie out of the three. It's a great movie. We should watch it.
We should. Jeff, you have to come back for that one.
Yes. Well, it's a trilogy, Every year we take a new Savage Steve Holland movie until we find out that he, looks at teenagers' feet or something. Or maybe we dive into that. Maybe we get even darker.
He's not the foot person.
He's not the foot person.
Yeah.
Right.
I can
find
deal
out.
with
He'll be
foot
something.
fetishists. I just
not
can't deal with the pedos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The foot fetish, whatever. I dated one. It's just like kind of a weird thing. It's just like, oh, really? You need that to do it? Whatever. It's a bit of a deal breaker. I mean,
hey, if everyone's an adult, whatever works.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Cheers.
Cheers to that. We're gonna find out Savage Steve Holland had like a Curtis Armstrong fetish.
He did.
Which is fine, because so do I.
Yes.
He's hot.
Where are we at in the film? So we've established he's depressed. He's tried to commit suicide by strangling himself outside of in the garage, and then he reconsiders, and his mom is cleaning and accidentally is almost choking him because she's pushing the door open where he's trying to choke himself or hang himself. And then what are the other ones that he tries to do? Because I think he tries to kill himself like 3 or 4 times over Beth.
The car.
The car was my favorite one. That was so silly. It's just like
and jumping off of a bridge.
Oh, and then the best line ever. Best line.
Yes.
What is it? A waste of a perfectly good white boy. And I was like, yes.
Best line in the movie.
And that was the only thing that John Cusack said he'd liked of that movie, was that comment.
That's right. He's had a weird relationship with this movie where apparently he wasn't real happy with the edit of it right afterwards.
To be completely honest, I don't think he was happy with a lot of Savage Steve Holland's movies, yet he came back for the second one, because I don't think he was that impressed with One Crazy Summer either. But this one, for whatever reason, I don't know, for whatever reason, right, when it came out that they kind of had a bit of animosity, or he had animosity towards Savage Steve Holland, I was like, why? Like, I never understood that, but I think it was because he thought that he was a better actor and this role was beneath him, is what I took from it. Like, I think he was just kind of like wishing he was doing better stuff, than this movie. And I think he just had a big ego, but he's come back from a lot of that and said, he did like the movie, it was fine, but I think as he got older, he got a lot more humble.
He owes his career to like the long-term staying power of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
And that could only be proven over time, because it just bombed at the box office, but then with cable, it's one of those things that just got more and more popular as the years went by.
But what's crazy is I could only find a crappy resolution version on YouTube.
Yeah, it's protected.
Oh, is that what it is?
Anytime you can't find something, it's because the
People like
companies
it.
are protecting it. Yeah. It means they can make money off of it.
That's the way, the American way.
That's called capitalism.
That's why I got to watch a high def version of Hot Dogs.
Yeah, because no one gives a shit about that movie.
Yeah, it doesn't scan all the way through, but you know. Actually, the Hot Dog the movie came out on Blu-ray like right after we reviewed it.
And then it was immediately gone. I don't think I actually think it's still on there.
Things are made to be collector's items.
I don't know. Like if you have a collector's item of Hot Dog the movie, more power to you. Ugh.
Yeah, you got to have your Blu-ray with the deleted scenes.
Yeah, I think it's the sort of thing that people want to play in the background at their bar or something.
Lane Meyer. He basically gets the foreign exchange student interested in him, and she starts taking over and organizing his life for him and giving him things, shit to believe in about himself. And she fixes his car. She teaches him how to ski.
I mean,
I thought that
she's
she
the
was
muse.
already into him now.
Well,
Totally
you kind of get to see it when she's looking at him very, very longingly, and then what's his name? Like Foot Guy would walk over and like grab her hand and like pull her away and stuff. Just,
so sad.
It was really sad. He's like, "Come on, yeah. I have to go do a portrait of your foot. Come on."
Oh my God.
So disturbing.
She has a really good line where she just kind of sums him up, Lane. Actually, she's like, it's like your middle name is I cannot do.
Your middle name is I cannot do. You must do, Lane. I think that was Carl Jung, maybe? I don't know.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very
yes.
Yoda.
There's only do or not do, and Lane, you cannot do. She's got to get his self-esteem up so he can be a doer.
Yes, but we've skipped over one of the main characters who kind of does maybe a little bit more than a cameo. The paperboy who had the iconic line, "I want my $2."
Who could forget?
Oh, that little kid, yeah.
Yeah.
Running gag.
Yeah.
Chases him through the whole movie, just wanting his $2. I don't know why Lane was in charge of the paper that his dad read, why he had to pay for it, but
guilty by association.
Yeah. So throughout the movie, this kid, and I use this quote to this day, probably at least once a month. Anything that is poultry to something huge, I'll say, I want my $2. Like, give me that slice of pizza.
Totally.
Or, I want my $2. Where's that video you're supposed to edit for me, Gabe? Bam. Called him out. Bam.
This is getting personal.
Wow, it's calling him out. Yeah, and that kid's name was Johnny Gasparini.
It fits.
And it's and I guess according to Savage Steve, he was a real kid who really, that's his real name. So he used the kid's real name, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He said Johnny. Like, oh, sorry, Johnny. My dad's not here, and my brother just blew up something in the kitchen. Goodbye. And then would slam the door on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Very iconic.
Exactly. It's become iconic. It's become a cultural touchstone for people in our general group. And we have this movie to thank for a lot of these things.
Truth.
It's cultural shorthand for so many things.
Yeah. And then so I guess throughout the movie, Lane kind of starts warming up to the French exchange student. And then maybe at the end, an epiphany happens where he becomes in love with her. Is that how you guys saw it? Or was he, because she was eyeing him from the beginning, like would see him in the driveway or whatever.
Yeah, she just wants to hang out with anyone.
Oh, yeah.
She's trapped. I think he finally falls for her when she fixes the car.
Yeah.
Is that the turning point?
Yes, you did just enough. You did just enough for me to notice you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I'm pining over this girl who obviously does not love me and is a social climber. So, yeah.
Yeah, he needs his head surgically removed from his ass, and then she has to go do that too.
I think half the 80s films, it's kind of like that. I'm like, oh, wait a second. Wow, you're pretty too, and you do stuff for me. Oh. Not like that other. And then, because I think at the end, when he beats the guy at this K-12, for a second, he is basking in the getting his girl back and then sees her walking away and goes, wait a second. That's the woman I really love.
Yeah, that was a really sad moment, actually, that he gets so caught up in his own greatness that he starts to like fall for the ex-girlfriend again, all over again.
But she's being dragged away by that horrible family that's essentially kidnapped her to be a sex slave for this pedophile foot fetishist.
And then it turns into this weird kind of like fight scene with the skis and
Oh yeah.
And I was like, okay, like that was kind of fun. And then he steals her away. And I'm thinking to myself, that's going to be very awkward when she has to go back and collect her clothes. Or, like, where is she staying now? Like, you literally just stole her away. Like, that's such an awkward dinner now.
Yeah, she's just like, I'm just here to get my toothbrush. You know, like, what happens next?
She's like, the mom's like, I paid for you. You're going to stay here. Or something.
Good grief.
Is the actress really French? I don't know. Probably.
Never saw her in anything ever again.
She was in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yeah.
Yep, she was one of the princesses.
Yeah, okay. Diane Franklin, the French girl in this movie, was also in Bill and Ted's. Yeah. Yeah, she did stuff.
Things.
She did
The
stuff.
Last American Virgin.
She was also in the How I Got Into College. She became the mother of the kind of John Cusack kind of character.
Oh yeah, you're right.
What?
That's so weird.
Yeah, she was like 30 or like late 20s, so they're like, "Oh, you're a mom now."
Oh,
a mom of a teenager.
Yeah.
Late 20s.
Like an 18-year-old. Yeah.
She was in Terror Vision too. If anyone's seen that, fantastic piece of cinema.
You're stretching that word cinema, aren't you?
Cinema. I mean, if I'm going to talk about Terror Vision, I am going to have to use the word cinema.
Yeah.
So you're not going to say film.
Film.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should do Terror Vision sometime because Mary Warrenoff's in it, and
we have to do Eating Raoul too.
Saint. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Just for Paul Bartel, but you know what I mean. But
I know what you mean.
But I mean, overall, I thought this was a fantastic movie. I watched it a lot on, I think it was HBO. I watched it a lot, and then I watched it on VHS, and it was part of my childhood. Like, I would sit there and watch it over and over again. Although, granted, I was more into I was more into One Crazy Summer, only because Bobcat was in that one, and there was a lot more animation. Like, the animation was fantastic in that.
Yeah.
So that was always, One Crazy Summer was always my jam, you know, a little bit more. But this one always had a really, you know, good place in my heart.
Savage Steve Holland was an animator. He animated the whammy guy on the.
Yes. I love that show.
No whammies.
No whammies.
Press your luck.
You would lose all your money. That never made you feel good. I mean, you love the animation, but the person that just lost $20,000, maybe that doesn't feel so good when the whammy comes out and makes fun of you. And
those little segments, are those his animation segments in Better Off Dead and One Crazy Summer?
Yes.
So that's his art. Yeah, because they all look like the whammy. They're all like these like kind of lumpy monster dudes, kind of looking like Ratfink.
Yeah. First, the studio with Better Off Dead, they didn't know if they liked the hamburger and the illustrations, the cartoons, and then they tested it out and people loved it. And so I think that became the most popular part of Better Off Dead was the animation part. And then also in the One Crazy Summer, because I thought that was hilarious that it became uber violent. Like, all the cute fuzzy bunnies were getting like torn in half because he's shooting them. again, people making fun of the poor, guy who just wants to be in love, and people are stopping him from being in love.
Never, 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 never.
Never, never, never.
Okay, we're gonna have to watch that movie again.
Yes, that'll be round 2, sometime in the year or 2.
We'll revisit this.
We'll go down the line.
Well, let's talk about the most iconic ending to this most iconic 80s film.
Yes.
It involves a saxophone.
Why are saxophones so popular? We're just like, every band had to have a sax at that time.
When he played it, it actually was a synth keyboard making the sounds.
No!
It was weird.
How sad.
Is that because you know lots about saxophones? And you could be like, that's a synth keyboard.
Yeah, no, I was actually, does he know how to play the saxophone? And then I listened and it was like, it was like really keyboard sounding. I was like, oh, I guess John Cusack didn't know how to play sax. So.
MIDI.
Oh, and I made a mistake that I have to correct myself earlier. Savage Steve Holland was responsible for Eek the Cat, not Rocko's Modern Life. So I do apologize for that. So,
Eek the Cat.
Yeah, but I did watch both. So
yes,
they're similar.
Very similar.
So, and then the epic ending was that he not only beat Roy Stalin, but he beat him with one ski.
Oh
yes,
yeah.
Booger or whoever this guy, Curtis Armstrong, Charles DeMar. That's what he was. I remember now. Charles DeMar.
Charles DeMar, who's been in high school for 7 years.
Yes, and he's no dummy.
No,
that was
dummy.
the quote. That was the quote. I'm no dummy, Lane. I know what girls want. Saxophones, and for you to beat Stalin at the K-12 with one ski. So he ruined his ski because he accidentally skated over his ski.
Quote unquote, accidentally.
Accidentally.
No, he did. I think it was an accident. But...
Of course. You hang out with people like that, all kinds of calamity ensues.
Oh, yeah. He's trying to snort snow, Jello.
Oh yeah, there was a ton of Coke jokes.
Yeah.
I was just like, damn, Coke was big in the 80s. Everybody thought that was funny.
He just wanted some drugs. It didn't matter what it was.
Like he snorted the snow and was like, I can't even feel my right arm.
Snorted Jello.
Yeah.
Hey, who in high school didn't snort everything they could get their hands on?
Me?
You probably didn't.
My mom was always looking after me.
Not always. Remember.
Shut up.
You in high school.
Shut up. Moving right along.
Smoking something.
Moving right along.
Okay. Anyway.
In case your mom listens to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely listens to it.
His mom is totally listening to
She's
it.
totally an 80s freak.
But yeah, actually, Curtis Armstrong has that line earlier in the movie that's kind of hilarious where he's like, I know how you can get her back. Your sax. Work on your sax.
Yeah.
I heard that as sex. I was just like, good grief. Work on your sex? Oh, sax.
Sax of what?
Mm-hmm.
Good old booger.
She was very impressed. He played the sax, but when his mom gave him a birthday present, she gave him TV dinners. So he surprised her with candles, TV dinners, and then snuck up behind her and started playing his sax. And I think that's what sold her. She was like, this is my guy for the rest of my time that I'm in America.
Next 2 months.
Exactly.
And then at the end, he drives her because she's obsessed with baseball. And he drives her to the LA Dodgers stadium. And and then they're making out on top of his car. And then the kid that wants his $2 is biking up to them. And fun fact, she, what did she do? She
punched that kid in the nose.
Punched the kid in the nose, and then they got arrested. No, she later on wanted to sing at Dodger Stadium, like in real life. They said, yes, you can do it. So they thought that they would introduce her as Diane, I forget her last name, Franklin, from Better Off Dead, is going to sing the national anthem. but they just announced her name and nobody knew who she was, and she sang the national anthem.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
She actually wanted to do a signing, but they were like, "Nah, we don't really like the signing idea, but we'll let you sing the national anthem." And she's like not particularly a singer either.
It's a hard song to sing for anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be kind of weird.
You just got to go with it. If you're in Hollywood, bam.
Oh, sir, can you see?
I can't do it.
And everyone's like, "Who the fuck is this?"
Get the high one. No.
Well, thank you, Jeff, for picking this. This is like such a great blast from the past.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. It was hilarious.
Yes.
It was a fun time.
We'll complete the trilogy.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Oh, we should have you and Gabe on, and you guys can just kind of like every so often have like side beef when we're talking about the movie.
Get out.
Oh, yeah. We have years, 20 years of side beef.
Side of beef. Sounds weird. I want to ask you about a current art show you're involved with.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes. Well, I'm curating a show at the Midway SF. It is up right now, and it's basically a variety show. So we've been on Twitch for the opening, Twitch TV, for all the kids with the new lingo, the new things to use, Twitch TV. Actually, we just edited it down, and now it's going to be on YouTube. So I'll send that info out to everybody. But it's basically artists from the Bay Area, painting to poets, to short films, to comedians. So
Wow, it's got everything.
It's everything. I usually feel like when you put on a show these days, you gotta have 5 or 6 things to throw at people, because
Yeah, it's true.
there's a lot of things you could be doing in this world, and then you came to see whatever I'm doing, and so even if you didn't like anything, you saw 5 things.
You're gonna like
things.
one of these things, maybe.
Yeah, one of these things, maybe.
Yeah.
But no, it's a good benefit because it's the money goes back into the artists. We have a Indiegogo page, and so that's doing pretty well, and that'll be up for the next month. And yeah, hopefully I get to do more of these, because what it does, it just gives money back into Bay Area artists. So depending on the space and depending on this thing we call the pandemic, we'll make it as big as small as we need to.
Excellent. And this is called Metronome City.
So thank you. Yeah.
People would love to come see your artwork online even. They should check out your website, right?
Yes, my website, and it'll send you links to all these things that I'm talking about. So my website is artislifesf.com, and you'll see all my comings and goings, and all the information you need to support Bay Area artists.
Excellent.
Yeah.
The artists, we need it more than ever now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do.
Yes.
The rest of us really need the art more than ever, so keep up the good work. We, of course, are Speakeasily versus the 80s, and you already know how to find us if you're listening to this. But did you know that we have merch? Yes, we have very cool merch. We have t-shirts and masks to put over your face, and other stuff too. And put a mask on your body, will you?
Face and your body. I'm gonna put it all over your body.
All over your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check out speakeasily.tv to find out more about that. And we're on Facebook, Speak Easily Show, and we even have a special people's group where you can join us and post dirty things at us, and then we will make funny comments about it. It seems to be what people want.
Yes.
And we are here for it. Also, feel free to write us a letter. speakeasily@gmail.com, and perhaps we will read your mail on the show.
Oh my God, that would be fun.
Would that be fun?
Yay.
It's a dare. Do it. I dare you.
I'm gonna make up a fake email address and write us letters.
God damn
no,
it.
This is you again.
No, it's not me.
Just read it, damn it.
Oh, I can't wait to get to the part where. Oh, never mind.
I don't
I'm
know this.
experiencing this for the first time.
All right, thank you. You've certainly been an audience. Good night.
Good night.
Good day, sir.